Welcome to Parent Alienation is Child Abuse Unfiltered. Thank you all for being here today and welcome to the new subscribers. I thank you all and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I'd welcome you to do so and hit that little ding-dong bell so you don't miss a notification whenever I do an upload. Today I'm going to do a discussion about the effects of parent alienation on the children and on the parents involved, and different methods that a narcissistic parent will use as a way to control the child. Now, for those that are new to this channel, my channel only talks about the parent alienation that is involving spiteful narcissistic parents that use the children as a weapon to inflict hurt and cause pain to both the child and to the alienated parent. Normally this comes because of a breakdown in the relationship where one person's walked away because they couldn't do it anymore. And the narcissistic person couldn't take the breakup and use the child as a way to hurt and get even with this other parent. They do this by withholding visits or turning the child against that parent. They use a lot of different tactics and different methods to manipulate the children. They do this by withholding visits. And while they withhold visits, they may tell the alienated partner, be it the mother, be it the father, that the child's sick or the child doesn't want to come over this weekend. And then they'll go and tell the child that, the father's sick or the mother's sick this weekend, or they have to work this weekend, that they can't go visit. So they're actually lying to two people to fulfill their own selfish needs. So on this channel, we talk about that behaviour and how this behaviour affects the children and the parents involved. About the spiteful parents out there. Because relationships do fall apart. That's part of humanity. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. A lot of times they don't work because people have rushed into a relationship too fast, too soon, and haven't got really to know each other and either had a child or taken on someone else's child, and then the relationship falls. But one person doesn't take that relationship breakdown as easily as the other one does. So this is where parent alienation comes into play. My last video, we spoke about siblings of partners when parents move on to new partners with new children, how these children are also affected by the breakdown of relationships because they rush things. So on this channel, I try to talk about experiences that I've known or experienced myself or have heard firsthand from other victims of this epidemic crisis. The court system is out of date. Court system wastes a lot of time. Court system wastes a lot of energy, but spends a lot of money. Spends a lot of money. The time you're bounced around court is time you're lost with your child, and gives the alienated narcissistic parent an opportunity to move away, which is another tactic they use, is to move far away. So it makes it hard. One, sometimes they don't tell them where they go, they just move. Two, if they move far enough away, it makes it hard for people to do visits, particularly if people are working and have to, can't travel 3 or 4 hours every weekend or every second weekend all the time. Although most parents are still willing to do this just for the sake to see their child. I've known a couple of parents that have just done that. And the court system don't recognise parent alienation as a family matter. They call it a civil matter, so they want you to deal with it in civil court while you're trying to fight for custody or access to your child in the family court. They need to recognise it for what it is. It's child abuse inflicted by one parent onto another child, to their own child. The scars this leaves on the child remains with this child for the rest of that child's life. Some of these narcissistic parents, as I've spoken about, don't just use mental manipulation and coerce control over these children. They use physical ways to control these children. How does it affect the parent that's being alienated? Well, it would affect the parent as you would expect the parent to be affected. It hurts them. Imagine having your own child turn against you. Imagine having your own child tell you they don't want to come to see you, not knowing at the time that you're being lied to and the child's being lied to. And then being told you're not allowed to fight, not allowed to see your child, I'll see you in court. So then you have to fight the court system to try to get access to your child. And while you're being bounced around the court system, you're losing time, losing money, and having an enormous amount of stress placed on you that's totally unnecessary, all from one person's spiteful behaviour. So some of these parents are strong enough to fight, and they fight hard, and they fight long. And the narcissistic parent will quite often, through this system of the courts, start throwing accusations, false allegations around. False allegations about domestic violence, false allegations about child abuse, false allegations about coerced control. I'd like to know how they can prove that. I've just read that they're talking about sending people to jail for coerced control. How do you prove that? I'm curious about that. If anybody would know, like to fill me in, I'd like to know how they can prove that, because in the experiences that I've had with the system and people I've spoken to, that they only listen to a one-sided story. And if that person starts throwing the, she did this to me and she did this to me and did all this coerced controlling, and or he's up there going, she did this to me and he did this to me and he did that, all this coerced control, then the other person doesn't even get a chance to say, no, she's lying or he's lying. I was the victim. They've just spun it round, but nobody wants to listen. These are the mind games that get put onto you through the court system. So some people are strong enough that they can fight this, still may end up losing, because like I said, it's a one-sided system. Some people can't fight it. Some people give up. Some people step out of the world completely, if you get the drift. Because the pain's so much. Being accused of horrible things that you've not done, but it's out there and the world knows about it, but nobody wants to listen to your side of the story. There's people that give up. And that's sad and horrifying, because it doesn't have to be like that. This is what pisses me off about it all. It doesn't have to be like that. These children didn't ask to be born. These children were a product of what you and your partner did. And just because one person couldn't take a relationship round, why does that child suffer for that? Because the relationship broke down and you're narky about that? Or they're narky about that? These children pay the ultimate price for that. These children and the poor parents that have been alienated. I've spoken in past videos, and I say it quite often in most of the videos I do, that therapists explain to you that you're mourning the loss of a child that's still alive. And I keep pointing out that child's mourning the loss of its parent that's still alive. The narcissist parent seems to forget the fact that this child did have a bond with this mother or father, the extended family, their uncles, their aunties, their cousins. And to be ripped away from all of that, and to expect there's no mental damage from that, no mental harm on their emotions, just because you got full of spite, or that parent's full of spite. Why should these children be the victim of that? So this channel talks a lot about that kind of stuff. And I tell it from a child's perspective. Because growing up and had my trauma that I'd suffered as I grew, like I've said before, has turned me into a voice for the voiceless. And I have had the blessings and sometimes the trauma of having to be able to feel what other people feel. When children are separated or having abuse done to them, I feel that pain. I know exactly what those kids are going through because I went through that myself. So I started this channel as a way to raise awareness for that, to let people know that this happens out there. There's a lot of children in the same boat. There's a lot of innocent children that are being bounced around from relationship to relationship, from narc to narc, maybe put in with another narc, build bonds with children and then be ripped away from that because the parents' relationship broke down again, so mum or dad's had to move out and left half my crap behind again. Had presents from my auntie or my uncle I haven't seen for years. Had a special gift from my mother or my father that I had, but that got left behind because we had to leave really fast. How do you think that affects a child? The normal ones of us out there know how that affects a child and wouldn't do that to a kid. But in the world of parent alienation with a narcissistic parent, they thrive on this hurt because in their eyes they're hurting the other parent. The child's thought's not in their mind. They cry and get upset for their parent. They get chastised. And if they're unfortunate enough, they get probably physical punishment too. The emotional trauma that this causes to children affects them through their childhood, through their schooling, through primary school, preschool, prep, kindy, primary school, high school, into their young adolescent years, into their adult years, and into their aged years. I have contact with people that tell me they're still dealing with this bullshit. I have contact with people that told me through my videos they've realised that they understand some of their problems a bit now. Putting it into perspective that they were bounced around from family to family, or they too suffered abuse and trauma as a child, being manipulated or controlled by one parent to hurt another parent. Not really caring about the child and inflicting harm on that child as well. Because it's all about power and control. As I've said before, these kids are the silent victims. These kids cry many tears at night that people don't get to see because they get in trouble if they do. They have to put on a happy parade all the time. Not talk about their other family and, suck up mum's ass or suck up dad's ass to make them feel like you're doing a great job. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I know I don't want to see my mother. I know I don't want to see my father. If there's legitimate cases, like there's child abuse or something, there's a legitimate case why these children shouldn't have access to the other parent. I've always called fair call on that. The ones I talk about on this channel, it's not that. This is all done out of spite. All done out of spite. But, as I've stated in all my videos too, kids don't stay little forever. These kids grow. These kids start asking questions. And in the world of social media, they can start finding their own answers now. They don't have to always rely on what mum or dad keeps telling them, or what grandma or grandpa on the narc side keeps telling them about their other side of the family. These kids will be curious. They'll want to find out for themselves, is it true? Because I don't have any memories of them doing that to me. I don't have any memories of that happening. Then they'll start asking questions, and then, like I've said, these people get old, they end up alone. But with enough education, enough people speaking up about it, we can wake people up about it. I've had people come up to me going, I didn't realise I was actually doing some of the things you've said. Once you pointed it out, I kind of took a look in the mirror and thought, well, I'm doing that. So it makes me feel happy that I'm touching good people as well as helping people to recognise the behaviour that they're doing is damaging. And they recognise it and they're changing. Because that's the thing, is recognising that what you're doing is actually hurting another person, and it's out of spite, and no one really wins for that. No one wins. And the ultimate victim out of it is the child, the innocent little kid that you brought into the world, or that was brought into the world. That kid shouldn't suffer for a grown-up's mistake. Relationships are there to learn from, good or bad. If it doesn't work out, then you have to take it that there's someone better out there for you, regardless of how wonderful or perfect that person seemed to be. Because if it falls apart and you're arguing, and it's not perfect, then is it? And everybody does argue. Everybody has, well, if you call it arguing, people have discussions. Sometimes they get a bit loud. But when it comes to being spiteful, that's different. When you have a discussion and talk, that's a normal part of a relationship growing, is discussing, working it out, and compromising. The narcs world don't do the compromising. It's all about power and control. So that's what this channel is about. If you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. Share it, subscribe. I'll be doing more. This is a big subject and it affects a lot of kids. A lot of kids out there don't get anyone to talk for them. No one cares. No one cares about the kids. No one cares about their emotions, how they're coping. And they grow up into adult years and they're still dealing with it because couldn't talk about it, didn't understand themselves what was going on. Just know I was you're being dragged from one house to another house. That person sometimes knows, oh, that one was hitting me. That one wouldn't let us eat food. That one wouldn't let us have any toys. Wouldn't let him make a mess at that place. That brother used to beat him up. That sister used to hurt her. That sister used to steal the money out of the purse and blame the other sister. It's a whole lot of chaos. A whole lot of chaos. And the kids don't deserve any of that. They deserve to be safe, happy, and just focus on being a kid. Enjoying their life. Not stressed at home. Not stressed about what's going on at home. Definitely not in fear of either parent. And unless there's a legitimate reason, then these children should have access to both parents. And if one parent happens to be a bit of a deadbeat mum or a deadbeat dad, kids need to work that out. But you don't have the right to stop children seeing that parent just because you don't like that parent anymore because the relationship fell apart and you're spiteful because of that. How dare he move on? How dare she move on? Can't even think about the kid. Anyway, I'll leave it there today. Just wanted to do a quick one. Like I said before, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, I'd welcome you to do so. Let's keep growing. Let's keep spreading this word. It's getting out there. I can see I'm making a little bit of a ripple. I'm attracting some narcs too. That's always interesting. All they do is show their colours. And if they write anything inappropriate, it gets removed straight away because that's not what this channel's about. We're here to support each other and talk about the subject. Don't attack other people because they have opinions. That just shows your colour. Yeah. Funny. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on my next one. Keep smiling, stay safe.